Humans were never meant to be cosmic gatekeepers, but there we stood, on the edge of another species' extinction. We arrived at the edge of the Zelmark swarm on a simple mission: observe, catalog, retreat. Their hive floating above a dying sun, cyclopean in scale, screamed of slaughter and ambition. Scientists in white coats whispered of genomic marvels, military brass predicted massacre. And somewhere in that swirl of confidence, humanity entered the gauntlet, unarmed. Our shuttle shuddered as it crossed the swarm's outer perimeter. Razor drones zipped by, insectile and mechanical, scanning our ship's hull. Computers beeped warnings in pale blue. We held our breath. Then the unexpected happened. Nothing. No ambush, no eradication, just empty hallways on their massive command vessel, abandoned consoles blinking in cold silence. No Zelmark greeted us, only dust swirling in low-gravity corridors. We pressed deeper, brethren of curiosity and self-destruction. Sensors detected a singular presence at the core, a life anchor, the source of swarm coherence. We found it, a crystalline spire, its tip hung with writhing tendrils of bioluminescence. It pulsed once, then twice, then thrummed with life. It was learning us. Every nuance of our physiology, our heartbeats, our whispers of breath. Panic flickered among the crew. Orders crackled over comms. The spire woke, its glow rippled outward, sweeping the corridors in soft violet waves. Instruments shrieked as the spire analyzed our biology. It had our data, it knew us, and it was ready to strike. At that moment, the swarm's vessels reactivated. One by one, they regained motion. Engines roared to life. Drones swarmed around us, forming phalanxes of death. We stood outnumbered, outgunned, overtyped by alien instinct, and yet human. Captain Reyes, voice steady, issued the order, evacuate. But the shuttle bay was too small. We overflowed its limits. I watched the Zelmark drones approach. Cold. Salvation. Then something changed. Something human. Private Silva readied her suit's launcher. She fired a flare bolt, simple, archaic. It burst in fiery red and orange, painting the spire in warm defiance. The ship shuddered. The spire paused. A data stream froze, and in that moment, we smiled. Captain Reyes keyed comms. MR 152, begin conversion protocol. That was our secret. They didn't expect software to fight back. We released our viral payload. It was pure digital defiance, a wildfire in code, weaving through the Zelmark's circuits. It used their own networks against them, and it spread, silent and swift, until the command vessel lurched, then tumbled in a bloom of sparks. Signals collapsed. Drones went inert. Chaos ruled the swarm, and we held our ground, half shielded by raw human inventiveness. We encoded fallback directives, encrypting survival logic into their machines. When their systems restarted, many followed our instructions, ceasing aggression, even opening hibernation modules, releasing their frozen crew. No orders, just a pause, an echo of our humanity. The Zelmark ship drifted. It spun slowly, lifeless but intact, a testament to defeat by intellect rather than force. We boarded silently, placing our flag beneath the spire. It pulsed once, a heartbeat of alien technology married to human code. In the aftermath, we learned the swarm was billions strong, and yet not a single being near our shuttle bay moved to attack. It was as if the hive consciousness paused, considered, and retreated. We slipped away under cloak of night, leaving behind a monument to audacity. By the time we returned to Earth in command, debates raged. Was it diplomacy? A miracle? A massacre disguised as mercy? But among our crew, there was an anthem forming, not of weaponry, but of cunning, of will. Humanity didn't just survive the Zelmark. We rewrote them, and somewhere in that silent, dormant hull, the crystalline spire still glows. A reminder, we are unpredictable, we are resourceful, we are humanity. They left a shell of an empire, and inside it, our code hums quietly, laying the groundwork for something new. They called it the Breach of Thalos, a name whispered across the galactic networks in fear, not for what was destroyed, but for who stood unbroken. Thalos 9 was a mining colony at the edge of known space. Nothing special, no military, no hidden tech, just dust, workers, and the occasional shipment of ore. And yet, it was there that the Rulaxi Empire tested their newest weapon. A kinetic spear, planet-sized, untraceable, designed to drop from high orbit and crush resistance before it knew war had begun. There was no warning, just a thunder in the sky and a light that shattered the horizon. The spear struck with the force of multiple suns compressed into a blade of metal. The ground split open, mountains were vaporized, cities folded like paper, and when the cloud settled, the Rulaxi expected silence. But from the rubble came a signal, weak, broken, but unmistakably human. A team of emergency workers, exhausted, bleeding, coughing up ash, had found a working comm tower. And through sheer will, they rebuilt the array with melted steel and scorched wire. They had no reinforcements, no medics, just a need to scream into the void that they were not gone. The Rulaxi listened in amusement. They had sent the strike as a message, submit or vanish. They expected a plea, a surrender. What they got was a challenge. The human broadcast was grainy, shaky, but the voice was steady. It belonged to a woman named Commander Yara Lin. Her face was bloodied, her uniform half-burned, but she stood tall in front of the camera, rubble behind her. "You came to erase us," she said, eyes like steel. "You thought we would kneel. We do not kneel." Across the galaxy, that clip went viral within hours. Even non-human species felt it, something primal in her voice, something raw. She didn't ask for help. She didn't even ask for war. She simply promised that humans would not forget. The next day, volunteers from other colonies began arriving in shuttles, defying protocol, risking arrest. Pilots, engineers, doctors. They called themselves the Fractured Shield. When Rulaxi, drones returned to finish the job. They found an entire trench system around the ruins, booby traps built from mining lasers, railguns reassembled from scrap, and humans, covered in ash, wrapped in torn flags, ready to fight with bare hands if needed. The Rulaxi didn't understand it. They had wiped out entire planets with no resistance, but humans were different, inexplicable. Where others fled, humans dug in. Where others feared loss, humans became wrath. 3 waves of Rulaxi soldiers attempted landfall. Each one met resistance fiercer than logic allowed. One team reported being attacked by a child wielding a welding torch. Another lost half their numbers when an old mining cart packed with explosives rolled downhill. They thought humans fought with strategy. But Thalos showed they fought with spite, with grit, with an instinct to protect what shouldn't have survived, and when the 4th wave came, it never landed, because the Rulaxi flagship, Herald of Dominion, received a package, a helmet. Rulaxi, blood-stained, with a single bullet hole between the eyes. And inside it, a tiny music player looping the same human song over and over. It was called Not Dead Yet. The flagship turned back. Within weeks, Thalos became legend. Not a victory in numbers, but in spirit. It had no right to survive, and yet it did. Not just because of weapons or tactics, but because of humanity's refusal to accept death when it knocks too early. They rebuilt, slowly, painfully, but they did. Commander Yara Lin never left the surface, even after Command recalled her. She refused medals, refused interviews. She only said one thing again and again: "We don't need saving. We remember who we are." Years later, children born after the breach would gather at the crater's edge. They'd run fingers through the scorched earth, now covered in wildflowers, and they'd whisper her name like a spell. Because humanity doesn't just survive. It remembers. It rebuilds. It returns. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more unbelievable human stories from the stars. Now, let's dive in. They found the creature in orbit around a dead star. It had no ship, no suit, no weapons, just skin like obsidian and a heartbeat that shook sensor arrays. The Intergalactic Peace Council logged it as Entity Black Void, a Class 0 unknown. That meant one thing: proceed with caution and try not to die. But humanity? We never read warning labels properly. The first human to make contact wasn't a soldier or a scientist. It was a mechanic named Jonas Rell, fixing a satellite relay that had gone dark near the dead zone. His comms recorded everything. He floated toward the anomaly and saw it, a humanoid figure, drifting, unmoving. Black skin shimmered like oil in the vacuum. Jonas said into the mic. Do you need a ride? The creature turned. What happened next is still debated. Jonas described it as a feeling, like his blood suddenly remembered the ocean, like time tilted sideways. But he didn't panic. He did what humans do best when they don't understand something. He waved awkwardly and offered help. And that's what changed everything, because the entity, this ancient, forgotten being older than most galaxies, didn't know what a wave was. Didn't understand help. For eons, it had been avoided, feared, fired upon. It had crushed fleets without trying. But here was a tiny human, floating in a patched-up suit, offering kindness in a casual voice. It followed him back. Security went insane. Every ship within 3 sectors scrambled defenses. The Peace Council issued evacuation orders. The creature didn't respond to hails or weapons. It simply floated behind Jonas's ship, silent and massive. Humanity held its breath. And then, Jonas played music. He was bored during lockdown, waiting. So he connected his suit's audio to the main speaker and played an old Earth song. Something with a steady beat and soft piano. The creature stopped, then moved, just slightly, swaying, reacting. Jonas said, "You like that? Wait till you hear Queen." The footage is legendary. A black cosmic horror, swaying slowly to Bohemian. Rhapsody in the silence of space. No one had ever engaged it. No one had ever spoken to it without fear until a human did. From that day forward, the creature stayed near human space. Like a silent guardian, it never attacked. Never responded to anything but Jonas's voice. Eventually, it became known as the Listener. Alien species were horrified. "You've tamed a monster," they said. But we hadn't. We had simply acknowledged it. One day, Jonas passed away, age 92, peaceful, surrounded by music. The Listener vanished, but every now and then, in sectors near the dead star, pilots report soft piano chords echoing through static. No source, no signal, just music, and something watching. Humanity never tried to control the Listener. We didn't build weapons to fight it. We didn't dissect it. We offered a song, and in return, we earned something the galaxy had never seen. Peace through empathy. We didn't scare the dark. We made it curious.